What's going on, y'all? So this is going to get very interesting. So we have Neb over here doing his reply about the job listing at PlayStation. Let's see how he defends this, right? But this is also going to be about not just PlayStation, but about, we gotta remember there's a lot of things to talk about here. Nintendo not bending the knee, and basically Sony admitting that Nintendo won the console war finally, just by what they just did recently. We've been telling people this, they just didn't want to listen. So we have a lot to talk about here. Are we ready to get into this? This is going to get interesting. The job listing at Sony seeks a role to assist the commercial strategy for PlayStation Studio titles. Beyond PlayStation hardware, Steam, Epic Games Store, Xbox, Nintendo, and mobile. There is no mention of being limited to live service games. It does, however, imply a staggered, not fully multi-platform, day-date release strategy like Xbox is pursuing, though in this industry things can quickly evolve. Oversee the out of year mid-range commercial strategy for PlayStation Studios titles across all non-PlayStation platforms. We'll be curious to see how this develops over the coming years and whether PlayStation sticks to a careful, curated hybrid strategy Herman Host announced only a few weeks ago or something broader. If Xbox's new console is a hybrid PC, PlayStation's games would also be on there anyway. So basically what he's saying is that Sony could potentially be doing this just because the strategy that they're doing on PC will end up on that next Xbox. And that's not necessarily the case because Nintendo is being included. You know what I mean? Because they would say, okay, well, who cares? I can just, you know what I mean, put my game on Nintendo and just not share with y'all. But they're not doing that. They're going for as much profit as possible. We see this. This is very, 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 very clear. So as we go down these comments, it gets very interesting. This guy comes in right here, the Chaos Launch, and he says, they are now officially third party, regardless of how this is spun. Mm-hmm. This is what NIB says. He says, it's hilarious how desperate you Xbox fans are to spin PlayStation as doing the same as Xbox before it's even done. LOL. A merge job listing and y'all are already jumping the gun. So the funny thing about this is that he says, a job listing, you wrote an essay. We know Nib is very good at writing his love letters for Sony openly, letting them know how he's going to defend them. It's hilarious how desperate you was to try and damage control this as you put over a meager, this was a job listing. You already jumped the gun. Am I doing it right, Nib? So Nib just got ratioed, by the way, right here. Likewise, I don't think he really likes that. And then Nib says, if this is an essay to you, I assume you never get out of kindergarten. Throwing low blows and providing factual context or insight on the listing isn't damage control, it's accurate coverage. It could have been considerably longer as there's even more in the listing. Oh, we know Nib is capable of doing that. We've seen it. He says, reverting to insults, by your own rules, you already lost the battle. It's always amusing to see you getting flustered and annoyed and referring to always insulting people. It's always a telltale sign that you truly are bothered by it all. But hey, keep the insults flowing. It's literally all you've got going for you. Which are you going to use next? Zealot, ignorant, or will you be creative and use something new for once? I do wonder. Oof. Nib, he's telling you to stop defending Sony, bro. Everybody sees it. But he has to come out and make this long explanation like people don't know that, or to try to convince people to see a certain way because he's very emotional about Sony. When you keep on writing stuff that long, man, yeah, you got to be emotional about Sony. And yeah, man, I think he's owning you, bro. And people stop backing you up. You keep getting ratioed. I mean, yeah, man, yeah, you're getting ratioed, bro. What's going on? Honestly, you know what? I don't even, I'm not even have to talk about other platforms. This is just funny about Nib here. This guy is literally just consistently ratioing him. I think he's dealing with a bit of karma here. This is actually pretty funny. So, after that, he says, because you made a ridiculous assertion, you applied 127 words. Damn, Nib, you counted that? And then it's like, And meager accurate reporting was damage control. LOL. Nobody's flustered here, but you. No, Neb, you're bothered by it, bro. It's okay. Anybody that's a true PlayStation fanboy. Look, if Nintendo was putting games out like that on other platforms, it would bother me. Not because I'm a Nintendo fanboy, because I know what that means for them. So I think anybody that likes a platform, just like people that saw Microsoft do that thing, do the same thing. Those people are gonna be bothered by that. If you really care about Xbox, you would lie if you say it didn't, and you wouldn't like to see them winning, playing the game that they're playing. You know what I mean? Though we're all past that. But as much as he defends Sony, I can't agree with that. Pony, sit down. We got a lot of content here to make y'all for this, and we knew this is coming. Don't worry, I have a lot for y'all coming. That's gonna be fun. So now let's see what this guy right here says towards NIB, Ultra Instincts. It went from PlayStation games will never go to PC, then it's 3 to 5 years staggered to PC, then only gas day and date to PC, then they're still only console exclusives to PC, then it's only Lego Horizon game, then then they'll never put their games on Xbox. Then it went to its only gas titles to now it's staggered time exclusivity. Watching another group of fans go through the stages is something else. Boy. I don't disagree. Okay, but PC gamers have always been saying all PlayStation games will go day and date to PC. Yet over half a decade later, it's the same strategy. Okay, so what Sony's doing here is nothing on the job listing said first party games like single player games are going day and date. It that doesn't exist anywhere. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't say that. What is pretty obvious though is live services day and date. Uh, Now, what it opens up the opportunity for after seeing all this, and I've said this in my other videos, is that anything could possibly be selected. We don't know what will be selected, but what people want to see, and this is interesting, is that when is the first game that is not a live service game that is going to go to Xbox and Nintendo? Because once that happens, that's another gate that's opened. They haven't opened that gate up yet, but this opens up the possibility for that gate to be opened up. You see what I'm saying? It's like, when you saw Helldivers, they gave you the live service sign permanently, regardless of what people say about Xbox is dead and the Xbox platform is not selling. That's kind of not the point here. The point here is any sense of profit, period. And even that base that they have is enough to Sony. If not, then they would just completely ignore it from the way these people are thinking now. So if you think about that, um, all people need is that one sign. Once Sony drops something like Spider-Man or Days Gone or any PlayStation 4 game even on Xbox, then that gives you the idea of what they really think. Shuhei said that about the Switch 2 already when he said, when he was asked that question, do you think that Sony would do that? And he was like, well, if you think about a game like, Infamous sitting around or like older PS4 games, you could put it on their platform, no problem, and get the free money. It doesn't hurt PlayStation because it's not needed to sell the platform. It already got what it needed and it's just sitting there. Um, so if people are thinking that this is going to hurt Sony and they're going to sell less, it's not. Remember what I said before, even if they go third party, right? Fully. Most people buy PlayStation for that specific reason. It's the same game. And Xbox is not going to sell more because of that. Even the next console. All that means is that you have another option of playing PlayStation games that people have already experienced on the PS5 or that they've already been used to doing on PC. So it doesn't really change that because people were already used to that for years. That's why I don't get why people are flipping even out about it because Sony already told you we already want the PC. So if I wanted to be first party really only and play the Nintendo game, then I wouldn't have done that. And the thing is, I got something to show y'all, and I need to probably make a separate video for this, but I don't have to. Sony had record-breaking profits, right? And Nintendo has not updated their numbers again, but they're going to, and these numbers will be even more. We can get back over here real quick. Let me move this. As a matter of fact, I can just get off the camera real quick. Everybody wants these numbers, guys. There's people, and I want you guys to listen to me. There's people that sell. Oh, that's really annoying. Just get the hell off my damn screen. Thank you. There's people that sell on multiple platforms, right? And they can't even get even some of these numbers by putting all their games on all platforms. And you see them getting these numbers. These are insane numbers for one platform. I'm telling you, it's absolutely insane. And this was last updated on March. Sony's getting their record profits, but guess what? They're not getting these numbers though. And Microsoft can never get these numbers. Nobody can but them. So the fact that they can sustain these numbers on their platform and Sony sees this, even though they're having record breakthrough because of third party, and Microsoft's doing what they're doing, branching out, everybody wants these numbers. The only way to do it is to do that method. And this is what I mean by like, it's not like Sony is really hurting, but they want more money. They want more numbers. Everybody wants Nintendo numbers. These numbers are insane. They're not even believable to certain people. If they didn't even know they existed, they wouldn't believe it. And I tell them they've been doing this for a long time. This is why they don't need to go anybody. See, this is called brand power and selling power at the highest degree, all pure profit. No needing to put anything on a service. It doesn't exist in their world. They still didn't even go to that game, but you saw Microsoft and Sony go to it. Even Sony made a hybrid system, and theirs is just retro. So I'm trying to tell you, like, this company, like I said, the day that Nintendo goes third party is the day that they're done. This is all that's left right now in console gaming. Everything else is playing a totally different game. And people need to understand why. The game that they're playing, they want to try to get, they're not going to get that, but they want to at least try to get this a lot, or, you know, somewhere down here a lot by branching out. And that's the only way. Sony can still get good numbers like this and stuff, but they want more. And I understand that. And that's their way of doing it. Now, we knew if this company went third party, good Lord, their numbers would be even more insane. And that's why I tell people, and Nintendo's not interested in the most money. They're interested in making the most money the Nintendo way. Because that's how they are. Funny company. So they're about to be making even more money because of Microsoft and Sony. You could be supporting their platform to have even more games too. But this is not necessarily bad. They're eating more than everybody, and they can take it on the go. When diminishing terms really, really hit even more, they're in the hugest favor. And I've been telling people this for the longest. Now you see what I've been saying when I say they won, that they're number one and it's over. And really, they didn't bend the knee. They're not going to PC and they're not putting their games anywhere else because they're winning. If you're winning like this, you don't need to do that. But they're not. And Sony is winning enough, but they want more. And games are more expensive, but they're still fine, though. They just tell you that, right? Market conditions, all this nonsense, you know what I mean? So, yeah, Nib, this is why Sony has to do it. Who doesn't want these first-party numbers and profit? Oh, yeah. I'm telling you. Let's go down here a little bit more. He says, and I'm sure Xbox did risk assessments too before they completely cannibalized their console market share and capitalized traditional sales. Okay, Sony, before they priced and designed the PS3 the way that they did, strategies are not guaranteed to be successful. Yeah, but this is not really so much of a risk. Like, and strategies obviously change over time. Definitely when it comes to Microsoft too, we know how dynamic they are, right? Here comes Gas down here. This is fun. Let's see what he has to say. Herman Ho speaks to why PlayStation is still selective on their console and PC release strategy and how exclusives are vital to differentiate the platform to showcase the performance and quality of the hardware and ensure that players get the best. They just get it. That's funny. They just get it. But Gas, the simple strategy has been implemented in this quantum physical algorithm indicated by the mathematic precision that is delivered by the Neptune energy feeding off, oh boy, feeding off off of Mars' heat wave signifies that PlayStation is in the top rung as the molecular structure. That is cosmic trolling right there. Man, astronomy trolling. That's funny. But yeah, we get it here. This approach is not about console wars. And it's not about exclusives. It's about already won. I know Microsoft's not a threat. And I need to make more money. And I want the PlayStation brand to make more profit. And I want my numbers to rise up. So this is what we're going to do. Just keeping it real about that. And Microsoft has to do that. You know what I mean? As well. And Nintendo deserves to win because they worked their whole life doing first party and creating. They're the way the reason we have the industry, and they never gave up. Yeah, sure, there's some things I don't like about them. I agree with you, but they never lay off. They give you great video games, and they keep giving games. One thing that I never liked about Steam, and one thing I don't like about these other platforms winning, is that they're mostly third-party vampires. They don't give you games like Nintendo does. You know what I mean? They've been doing it for a very long time. High quality memories that will never be forgotten. A lot of these guys, they're giving you these games, but they're not memorable. They disappear like real quick, almost like it was just a fleeting illusion. So it's not the same. That's why when people even try to release some of their products from back then, and I've heard people say, "Oh, it's nostalgia." Oh yeah. Well, how come all these other companies try to go back to the '90s and nobody's buying their products? No, they're that good. If your game is that good, people are going to buy it. They're not going to keep buying a game if it's not good. It doesn't make any sense to me. No, they'd be saying something about it. But anyways, we get the idea here. So Pony, sit down and relax. Here's the first video. We got a lot more coming. And like I said, there's just a lot of stuff to talk about just to understand why Sony is doing this strategy here. And why, if Sony did it, why are you still against it? They're already telling you we're doing it. Shut up. You know what I mean? Like that one guy checked what's his face. It's like, dude, we're here for all platforms because they already knew what was happening, what was coming. Remember that XDev, PlayStation XDev thing when they checked what's his face, Jay or whatever, whoever came and made that comment. They're already in the know. Like, I'm subscribed. Let me know what y'all think. Ponies, deal with it.